Happy New Year, everyone. Welcome to 2025. This year that I believe is going to take us places that maybe we've not necessarily explored. Well, we definitely haven't explored them, but maybe even in our minds, we haven't explored them. I have been away and I've been staying with my mother, and so she doesn't have any Wi-Fi, and my other family members who were around, they all had lots and lots of people at their houses, so I was not really in a position where I could come on here and go live or even post. For some reason I couldn't even post on YouTube, so I really apologize to those of you who haven't been able to see the posts that I've made on Facebook, but I was not able to copy and paste them into YouTube for some strange reason. And as I heard as I heard my mum saying to someone who visited on the last day that I was there, she said there are weird things happening with technology. So yeah, it's definitely been my experience, and I wonder if that has been your experience as well, posting or messaging or sending things that don't seem to arrive, or other sort of glitches. So the other glitch that's been happening, of course, is the time glitch, excuse me. And it is like we've had, so I want to know if this has been your experience. It is as though we have had like chunks. It's the only way I can describe it. We have had, it feels like we've had chunks. I think we might have spoken about this another time. Chunks of time that disappear, as though some giant hand has just come and grabbed the afternoon and pulled it out of existence. But what I am showing, and it's really beautiful when if you attune to this notion of what you've been doing, like you've been doing a lot of work, by the way, but it was this idea that, and I know we spoke about this before, that we were threading, right? We were threading, we were moving into fifth dimensional experience and bringing threads back into the third dimension so that other people could get a taste or a flavor for it. And so that's one of the things that's been happening. And then it's like the other thing that came was like braiding, like braided bread. So it's like we're moving down to the third and then up to the fifth and then down to the third, and we're doing it in different orders and different places at different times. And so this is I guess a more complex version of that threading. We've been doing the braiding, but it is that is impacting on our construct of time. So it can feel as though, yeah, time is changing, glitching, dropping out. It's hard to keep track. And it's hard to keep track of the day, of the time, of the calendar. And the day can feel very expanded and then drops out a big chunk of time. It can feel like it's the middle of the day and it's the end of the day. It can feel like it's the end of the day and it's late in the evening. And here in New Zealand, I believe, and I'm not very good at tracking this, but again, give me some feedback. I believe that we have had very extensive night light. So I don't really recall too many times where it feels like it's daylight at 9:30. Like, it doesn't feel like it's dimming to dusk. It felt like it was daylight. So there were a few nights at Mum's that I noticed that. So it's lovely to have you all here as well. Hello, sweet CC, and hello, BU, and hello, Debbie and Charlotte. Hi, Charlotte, and hi, Josie. Lovely to have you all here. Yeah, so I have done a lot of writing, and I guess that's what I'm here to do today. Tomorrow, I am going to try and find some time to come on and do an update on divine counterparts, and then the other thing I want to do is, can't remember, but anyway, we'll begin. So you probably have seen a lot of overviews from astrological and horoscope kind of ideas, and also maybe some numerology. So what I've done is try and take some angles that maybe haven't been looked at. So we're coming into a 9-year. So for me, the 9-year is really about a wrap up, a completion, a check in with self. That generally relates to all aspects of life. And if you like, in numerology, we do these 9-year cycles. And so 2025 is a 9-year and 2024 was an 8-year. So the 8-year, it was about karma, it was about dharma, it was about this movement, this motion of energy above and below, and all aspects of that flow through the heart, as you would have heard me talk about the idea that our heart is beginning to behave, or will come into behaving, like a series of things, really. So you could see it as an asterisk made up of infinity symbols that cross over in the center, but like a star cluster. It's not a flat asterisk, it's more of a star cluster. I got shown that, I don't know when, a couple of years ago maybe, that was an energetic way of our interpreting the heart. So you could see that sitting in. So it's like we can see all these overlays, we can see that. And then another thing I got shown was that our higher heart and it has become or will become a toroidal field. So a torus, the moving donut, and then our heart chakra become the same. So higher heart, lower heart. So a toroidal field, a moving torus top, and then the central heart, and then a third one around it. So all three intersecting. That was what I got shown, was kind of an upgrade or an update of our new structural or physical or energetic in the higher dimensional heart. Yeah, so maybe that's all. There's a lot, so I'll begin. Hi, Lego Flip. Yes, of course. Happy dream time. So yeah, a lot of you have been doing a lot of work in the night. Yeah, today with a client, I got shown her as well. I got shown this collective thing, but it was a message for her, but it was a collective illustration as a psychic clairvoyant vision. And it was like seeing a cloud that was really like a snow drift, or a cliff or a bank, and that light workers were like on top of the bank with their sword, fighting the if you like, those against us, fighting for humanity, fighting for the earth to come into its higher position, which we are now in process with. And so that's all starting to sort of, if you like, lock in. Hello, Fiona. Hello, Soulspirations. Greetings to you too, and Happy New Year. Yes, so I'll begin this 9 relating to many ideas, and I have tried to cover some angles and perspectives as a point of difference to some of the other really excellent articles that I have read, that are overviews regarding energy of 2025 and astrology forecasts. So I'm sure that you will have already seen, because we're already on the 5th, and read some of those. So this is my take on it. That's, perhaps gives a different perspective. In this 9-year, you can expect to explore your own wisdom and the depths of this. You may be inspired to carry out deeper aspects of healing or the closing chapters of your own healing, or the closing, you may develop wisdom and expertise in healing others, or in developing your own modality, and even in teaching about healing. This you might explore or proclaim to yourself as a teacher or as an expert in a given field. Write a book or create a course in a newly evolved modality. And certainly, I have to tell you that I believe that many of the Divine Feminine are going to begin their book this year. So if you have ever felt drawn to, guided to, write a book of some description, it may be that you can follow that when you get guided to. Now, don't perhaps, I want to say, give over the resistance to beginning it, because I feel that many Divine Feminine are going to do that this year. Be it a book that you start developing this year and write an outline, or that you start and finish this year. So it might be that you write an overview. It might be that you write, I don't know, like for some reason I'm seeing like a spiral of ideas. Just brainstorm it as you're turning. For some reason, I'm being shown that. So brainstorm as though you're on a page and you're turning the page as you write, and you're going further and further and further into the center. So I don't know, I just saw that. You are likely to go deep in whatever direction pulls you. Many aspects of life as you know it are likely to close, to end, to change or transform. And this includes our body. This, from the micro to the macro. In any area that weakens or undermines, is inauthentic or unaligned, and that is having a big impact on the Divine Masculine, but we'll speak about that tomorrow. It will likely be challenging. Try to stay in the moment. Try to move into your own vulnerability. There are a lot of emotional aspects that may be coming up from the deep, from the dark, from the past, from the ancient, the buried, because I want to say that my understanding is that from the 1st of January, we received new light. Light that hasn't been here before, with codes that haven't been here before from the cosmos, not just from the sun. There's been some people suggesting that it's come from beyond the sun. I think that's entirely possible. Or not just beyond the sun, sorry, beyond the grand central sun. I haven't seen that, but that is quite possible. But we're definitely receiving a range of codes and lights that come from the cosmos, from different planetary constellations, and from, I want to say, from beyond the moon and from the sun. From the micro to the macro, this change will take place in any area that challenges you being able to stand in your own truth, in your own authenticity. Recognize that nothing will stay the same now. So this is going to be our big challenge, is that, we've seen into the future. Many of us, we've got ideas about what we're going to do and who we are. And so in a way, we're kind of in this fulcrum, if you like, this turning point, as though we're being turned into a new direction, a new era, a new epoch, which is all true. And the guts of it is really, or the crux of it is, in a less crude way, that we are redesigning now. We're creating in each moment. So the challenge is to be staying in each moment, dealing with being in the present. So yes, again, recognize that nothing is likely to stay the same. And yeah, I feel that, if I didn't say this already, that a lot of new missions are going to come in. So you may have already had a mission, and the chances are that it's now going to change. So I feel that nearly everybody, so I don't know what mine is yet, but and I'm not sure I'm not sure if I'm getting a new one, to be honest, but I'm open to seeing that. But many of us are. Um, so we're on this bridge now to our new and higher dimensional space and frequency. So we're in this, let me see, because I've got really scrappy notes in here. We are being asked to master the art of letting go, of trusting our intuition, and to become comfortable with the unknown, which we've spoken about before. We will learn to do things that we've never done before in new and inspiring ways. And as the year unfolds, sorry, this is a little tiny print that I've written this in, and as the year unfolds, we will become more and more deliberate and conscious in all that we think, see, and do. So we're really on the bridge to learning how to become conscious creators, but it's deliberate, it's intentional, it's in this now moment, it's through our alignment, through our center, being grounded into the earth. And so one of the things that we're being asked to do, which I might talk about later, but I'll just mention now. So I did a lot of posts on Facebook, which yesterday I posted half a dozen of them onto the community board here in YouTube, and I will post the rest of them either today or tomorrow so that you can catch up on some of the things that thread into this. Let me see here. Much of this first quarter, I believe, will be taken up with undoing and revoking from the micro to the macro, from you to worldwide institutions and corporations. So I feel that this first quarter is like pulling the weeds. It's like revealing the truth. It's pulling back the covers. It's pulling back the curtains. It's moving aside the veils, and in a way it will be incremental, but it's going to be so quick and so big that it won't feel incremental. So a lot of truth to the world, and I believe that what is going to happen, it's like I don't know, I want to say sly. It's like it could be seen as being sly. It could be seen as being slightly underhanded, could be seen as like a sideways thing, but I feel it's going to be like governments will overturn mandates that they have made. So just apparently, I haven't checked this anywhere, but I was sent something. So apparently our government just passed a mandate, or there is a mandate going through the House, that the government can decide on our behalf to vaccinate New Zealanders in any way, shape, or form that they decide. So, to me, I think we can see those things, and certainly it may be that we need to take action to say no to those things, but that there's a lot of things that are going to come out that are like pushing people to the edge of the cliff so that they have to take a stand. And I think we can view that in that way, even though we know that the New World Order, it still might be having some meetings. We know that the aspects that links into through government, through international agencies that have been not elected bodies but set up by them, that all relate to the wealthy elite, that they are still existing. But I feel very strongly that the bigger, wealthier elite, the ones that sit up here, they're ruled by those above them, but that level has been taken out, and they may have been replaced in some form to hold space. So it's like a lot of those we could call them the evil ones. I feel a lot of them have actually been replaced by clones or by AI imagery to hold up, to be a placeholder, to say things that are really designed to evoke a response from those who are unaware and need to be awakened. So we'll see. But interested to hear what you have to say about that. Let me see, where am I up to here? Yes, so a lot of our systems and cycles, as Gaia said a while ago, will return to their original form and their original templates, their original blueprints, including the calendar, our seasons, and other aspects. We will be swept up as a piece in a giant game of dominoes as our world as we know it collapses and changes very rapidly in all areas and sectors. Much of the first quarter will be taken up with this undoing and revoking from the macro to the micro, from you to worldwide institutions and corporations. I think I already said that. And so, I believe we're going to see this. I believe we're going to see that government policy is shifting. I believe we're going to see that there will be remits that invite particular things that have gone through the government, that have gone through the courts, to be overturned, to be invalidated, and so on. Governments during this year are going to be held to greater account, and the people will be demanding greater transparency. Accountability will be insisted upon regarding their direction, their decisions, and their focus. And there will be many acts, legislation, and budget decisions that the public will insist on having a greater input. Many more people are in transition of awakening, and this includes the transparency of government, fiscal decisions, and policies. Government believability across the world is low, and the people will not be rolled over. Economics. The fiscal and budgeting landscape is likely to become more transparent, and an interplay of various systems will be made possible through the blockchain technology, which has already been created. So it's a technology that has come from the crypto sector, and it may be that there is crypto involved as one of those methodologies for currency. Gaia has always said that we would get to a place. Did I say that? Haven't said that yet, but you would have heard me say that. I'll say it now. Where we would have an international currency, and it's not the I can't remember, CBDC, that's right, the central bank digital currency. That comes from the New World Order perspective. It's not that. We don't have it yet, but I believe we do. We do have it, we just haven't been shown it. And I remember I had a conversation with this man who I went on one of his podcasts, and at the end of it, everybody had left, and I just hung around hoping I could ask him this question. And sure enough, I could. There was his assistant and him. And I said to him, look, I have been shown that there is going to be this idea. And so I'll just talk to you about the idea that that there's a new currency that's already set up. I don't know what it's called, but I believe it sits on a sort of crypto platform, even if it's not that, and that it is like our economic situation and the energy systems and structures in our world, but particularly finance, will be flipped like a big switch in an industrial shop. So if you've ever been into a big industrial warehouse, last one out turns off the lights. So those lights are often turned off with this, with the switch that the hand goes around. It's that big, it's a lever, and it gets pulled down and it switches off all the power to the building. And I've been shown, that's been the visual metaphor that I've been shown for how the economic situation will change. And he said, I can tell you that that is true, and that I have been, and the reason I know is because I have been part of setting up that system. So there you go, that's from somebody. And then I've also been invited um, to listen to someone else who has a lot of knowledge in the sort of more tangible three-dimensional world. Um, and a lot of what he is talking about is just this perfect segue into what Gaia has told me. And when I've said to him, Gaia has spoken to me about blah, 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 he's gone, yeah, that's right, and that's what this is going to become. So there's, it's been some nice sort of segueing for me with these two men I've been introduced to and been sort of able to listen to, and one in person and one on a Zoom platform. Well, yeah, I should tell you. A while ago, I got shown that if you're here in New Zealand, I got shown that the beehive goes up in flames, and I got shown that there are 5 levels below ground, but under the beehive, and that some pretty dark stuff goes on under there, and that's why it will, raised to the ground, is what I was shown a few years ago. We are going to see, if you like, destruction through fire. We are going to see destruction through floods and and some cyclonic kind of winds, and so we just have to be prepared for those. All right. Aloha, sweet CC. Hi, Dawn. Lovely to see you. Hi, Nats. And hello, Billy. And hello, Ange. All right. Okay, so let me get back to here. Finish that bit. Education. Education will firstly remove much of the curriculum that is false and is designed to program behaviours. So you could link this into our fake history or our hidden history, because we have both. So we have history that we don't know, that's been hidden away so that we have a less of an idea of who we are and where we come from. And we also have false history that was written to keep us in control. And so, that's my background as being a teacher, and I loved that job. But our schools have been very infiltrated in this sort of woke behaviour, this thackeray and wackery, as I call it. I'll just carry on with my notes. So much of the curriculum that is false and or designed to program behaviours, and then will become more student-centred, which of course leading edge schools and leading edge teachers have been doing for decades. And there are lots of teachers who already do this, of course, who facilitate learning and set up collaborative experiences and act with expertise and guidance as students are encouraged to explore and create and design their own learning experiences. And this will become a very big part of our next level of educational experiences. And of course, I have seen, and it's, you can laugh at it, but there's a lot of truth, I believe, and that I have seen for a long time I'm showing like a 5-year-old with a mortarboard and a pointer stick at the front of a lecture theatre. So a lot of our young children have come here to the earth to bring new innovations and to teach us, of course. The New Zealand technology curriculum, which I do know very well, holds some very good frameworks for this type of learning program. So it's funny how when I was writing this, that in my vision that sort of flicked in that framework, and so that's what I was showing, is that it could be used as a template. As our true history unfolds and our false history is revealed, what evolves from that will drive what happens in the classroom. As students are encouraged more to explore, to create and experiment in their own learning, they will steer the rewrite of the curriculum. A lot more student-centered learning will change the face of education a long way beyond our current model. Hello, Donna Jean. Food and farming, essentially the removal of toxins and poisons from our food chain in agriculture, will change our raw ingredients and allow the land to revive. And if you've listened to, oh, I'm sorry, I should know, is it RFK or JFK Jr.? RFK, I think. If you listen to him, I mean, the interesting political landscape with Trump. I just might do a little sideways movement here. So a few years ago, and you might have heard me say this, when all of this stuff about Trump was coming, a friend and I were chatting and we said, why don't we tune in on him and let's get back and share what we got. So we tuned in, and then the following day or the day after, we got back together, and both of us had been taken to an underground cave, really like a bunker, and it had a long meeting table in it and was covered in manila files. So, you know, a couple of hundred, say, manila files that were, if you did that to them, they were laid out like that. And so we had both got that the real Trump was there. And so he was protected, but he was proceeding with a plan, and that this plan had many components and it had a distinctive order. And yeah, so when we connected in the next day, both of us had that vision. That was a very close match. When I asked Gaia about Trump, she said that he was protected by both on and off planet beings and was here for good. So I think that he is very well protected and very well guided, that he has a big role to play. The fact that in the first term he went and either created some kind of connection with each of or most of the leaders around the world, but also my understanding from some of the Q material is that he presented them all with files of their misdeeds and said that those misdeeds would be revealed if they didn't follow the instructions. So, bit of bribery, but it feels like it's from a higher perspective, because these leaders in many of the countries around the world have been infiltrated by those who are either bribed or programmed to carry out a particular plan that is nefarious and is not for the highest good of humanity, but highest good for the elite, who really want to depopulate the world and just have a few humans who are good soldiers and little slaves. And so what I believe is that during the 4-year term, or anyway, the time when he hasn't been, that he has continued on in his leadership role from a more hidden perspective, but that he has continued on, and that by the Biden that we have seen is definitely an actor, and that he has been like, he's just a placeholder to placate the system, and then B, to reveal the system so that others can see the truth of what is going on and what has gone on. And so part of all of the Trump being taken to court for a whole variety of things has also been going on as part of this reveal. And I think so far each of those has been like either dismissed from court or hasn't got anywhere because they haven't had any real evidence. So I believe that he has been, working with some off-planet beings, and that he has had protection from them, that perhaps he has access to technology that we already maybe we already have it here, but it's hidden, and maybe he has access to some of that or to some higher technology. But I think the other thing that is curious to me and interesting to me is this, that he has created alliances with people who are not allied or aligned to his party presence, but he is enveloping them and giving them a role to play, which will be for our good. And so I find that interesting, because this will be our new way of being, will be collaborative. And so he's brought Vivek, is it Ranika Shankar? I'm sorry, it is a long name like that. For things to do with the fiscal policies, I think. And then Elon Musk, he's brought him in for, now I've forgotten, but you'll know, some other aspect. And then he's bringing Candace Owens on. Oh, no, not her. I think he will bring her on. I'm not sure what she's doing, but I feel that she'll be brought in. And then there's another woman who I don't know. So it's like he is bringing in people who have a passion, who have expertise and a vision for a particular sector of overall governance. And so that's, to me, that's, a new way of being. And then he has, created this connection with all of these other countries. And so I think when he comes back in, whatever the arrangements or the alliances were that were formed there will sort of come into play. So I think we're going to see during this first quarter, I actually thought we would have seen it already. And it may be that it comes in January, but I think we'll see some like fiscal change. We'll see some, I feel like we'll be given something, like we'll be granted something. I've in my head, I've kind of gone, oh, I wonder what it could be. And in my head, I've come to the idea that it might be that it doesn't roll out as one big handout, but that there might be, I feel that this will be a way of making it feel softer, that people will be given money. That's what I believe. People will be given money, and they will be, but not everybody will be given exactly the same in the same time for the same purpose. And I think that that is because we have to shift values. So we can't have the whole workforce collapse because everybody's got some money. But I believe that it will roll out in some way like that. Like maybe everybody will get their tax back for the last 2 years, or that maybe people who are in this sort of bracket will be given money for that, or maybe people will be given extra money for each of their children, or maybe education will be free, or maybe everyone will get 6 months of free childcare if they're already enrolled, or it will come out like that. It will be a leg up, a handout, a help, but it will have to sort of fit into the overview of the whole collective. And then, yes, Nat said a living wage for everyone, and that's what we will come to as well, that we have to still shift the value, so we're looking after one another, looking after the land, and looking after our country. So that we are doing it all from the heart. Where am I up to? Yes, so the removal of toxins and poisons from our food chain and agriculture will change our raw ingredients and allow the land to revive. Our land has been so poisoned by the chemtrails, by the pesticides and the fertilizers that have gone into it. Food that is fresh and vibrant. So this is what I was saying to somebody in my family who I was chatting to this about, is that, you know, the greatest change will come from the consumer driving a demand, and that's what I'm showing, is that that's what will be sought after by the consumer. Food that is vibrant, that is enlivened, that is full of nutrients, that is fresh, and that is good for us and good for the soil. And this will drive demand and create massive change in regard to food supply, in regard to manufacturing and distribution, as well as weather intrusion through the chemtrails. So all of that will, yeah, impact our clean water and food. That's right. And so for a lot of people, they will just be awakening to this, because they have sat with the perspective that the government cares for its people, because that's been what we have been told. Design and housing, air quality and light, and qualities of materials used in natural organic shapes will be important in future housing. Many will live in small and well-designed houses and communities, allowing the best of both worlds of privacy and community, combining healthy materials, combined resource, both in terms of human skills and community shared spaces and gardens, working together with love in the heart and harmony in the air. Health and the human bodies. The work of the human body transforming into Homo luminous continues as we become our illumined cells and the embodiment of these new crystalline frequencies. This is having big effects. So many of us are feeling tired as we're being purified to the cellular level, back through time, space, and dimensions in all ways, through our cells and organs and systems, a higher frequency at a faster spin. And also it is accelerating exponentially, which is a weird thing to get your head around, the idea that it is faster, but that it is getting faster and increasing in its expansion and in its qualities and in its speed. Cells are being flooded with this light and with these light codes that have been coming in since the 1st of January. I believe, and pretty sure I have written something about this, that we are getting Ascension codes right now, that we've got, that you could like classify them as that from the 1st to the 11th, that there's this build up. So you could see it as, you know, the filling of the vessel, if you like, the changing of the cells, but that these light codes and frequencies have been coming in since the 1st. They were brand new in my understanding, and then this increase in speed, this increase in their impact on our bodies to be purified and up-leveled. Specifically coded, I wrote, to Ascension frequencies for mostly first wavers, which is you, but generally anyone who is open and ready. So we're in this kind of idea that the first wavers might be alert and ready to go and tired for holding the fort, if you like. But that, you know, this is an opportunity for first wavers to ascend, certainly, and for the impact of the work that first wavers have done and are doing and continue to do on the collective, and that as that kind of moves into that collective, more and more will ascend. And so I don't know the exact timing of that. Also, these are coming from the cosmos and beyond as we receive frequencies we've not encountered on the earth before. This is a bit of a repeat, I'm sorry. I believe increasing in dosage from the 1st to the 11th, down to the bone. down to the marrow, down to the blood. And there is a post on this, which I will bring up. Yes. So you may have seen it on Facebook, but I don't think I've posted it on YouTube yet. It's the one with the golden lotus. So it was an exercise, use focused intention with the following. So I just invite you to do this now. So close your eyes and focus on what is good and fabulous in your life right now. And feel that. So tune into the feeling of that in your heart. And then coat that feeling in golden light. And visualize that light entering your lungs. So that beautiful golden light as you're breathing in and out, filling your lungs. And as you're breathing in and out, that golden light is now filling your body, filling all of your organs, your ears, your eyes, your nose, your mouth. Envisage this moving into your blood, into your bones, into your marrow, through all of the muscles, the tendons, the skin, all other tissue. And take note of how this feels in your body. Feeling this incredible sense of well-being, of being held by what is really the equivalent of the Christos Sophianic crystalline light. So attune to the sense of well-being, the sense of expansion. Maybe you're feeling a little bit sparked by it as it is igniting the nodes in your body. And feeling it in your body and in your heart. And then you can send it down into the core of the earth, into the center point of our beautiful planet. And then that enables other people to access it. So take a breath, bring yourself back to center, to awareness. Open your eyes when you're ready. So you can repeat that every day. We're in this ongoing process of purification and cleansing, of healing and soothing, of aligning and of transmigration at a cellular level throughout the human form. This can be very emotional, very confrontational. Try to be okay with that. Try to be okay with sitting with your tears, of sitting in your vulnerability and just letting the tears roll. As we come in as first wavers into this fifth dimensional living, and I want to tell you, we will sort of spin off in an accelerated way to higher dimensional spaces, and probably many of you are aware of that. But our initial task, I want to say, is to anchor this into the physical earth. So you are asked to ground it in so that the energies are available to the collective and hold space for ascension, which we have already been doing. The planet in its consciousness is enlivening and activating to and from its core. So be very nurturing of yourself. Take really good care of you. See that as your priority. If you like, your role now is to be the conduit of these energies. First, pulling them into self and expanding them, and then grounding them into the core of the earth. And so these time jumps, these things dropping out, like chunks of time dropping out. Who has been having that experience? I'm curious about that. I know I spoke to one of the men in my family who is awake and having a lot of psychic experiences, and he has been noticing that. And Mum thought that I'd really lost it, until I said to her, "Look, I don't know if this is happening for you, Mum, but this, if you think that I'm a bit off, a bit doolally," she said, "Yeah, I do." She said, "I've been a bit worried about you." And I said, "Oh, it's just that, we're going through this dimensional shift." And she knows that I work for Gaia. And she has a lot of knowledge, my mum. So she doesn't necessarily understand it from our perspective, but she understands about the change. She understands about the hidden, and she understands about energy through the body. So she's been she's done a lot of healing modalities, and done some training in a lot of healing modalities. And so she has an understanding from that perspective. But she said, "I thought I was a bit worried that you were losing the plot." Anyway, I said to her, "No, it's this dimensional shift that a lot of first wavers are going through. It's like we're moving back and forth between dimensions, and so we're losing chunks of time, but eventually it'll even itself out." So yes, another X-class flare was announced. I saw that there were 3 X-class flares that perhaps landed yesterday, or maybe the energy landed yesterday. So is that just now, Golden? So these flares from the sun, that's the other thing that Gaia spoke about a long time ago. Maybe there was a time when she talked to me about things that really aligned with an Aboriginal ancient story that was told, and it related to it, like it segued in. And I think it was not the timing though, but I think that what I was told, the timing of that linked to the Aboriginal mythology. I do believe we've had interruptions, and I've been meaning to ask and I haven't, in terms of our time, in terms of that things ought to have happened when in time that's already gone. That there's some kind of, I read something that someone was speaking about, and I thought, yeah, I suppose that is possible. The idea that we're in a repeat cycle now, that something that ought to have happened in 2012, we've now like plugged it over the top and doing that cycle now coming into this time. So there's definitely been some kind of timing overlays. Hi Deb, and hello Amanda. And yes, Nat, non-toxic materials for clothing. So there's just, everything we touch and breathe has been infiltrated. It's that, who sang that song? Da, 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 and it's killing me softly. Um, I haven't looked up the lyrics of that, but I often think about that's what the evil ones have been trying to do, killing us softly over a long period of time. Anyway, it's sort of part of the game, that we have to have awakened to claiming ourselves, claiming our sovereignty, claiming our right to be here and to live a free life. And yeah, a lot of this, I believe, is going to be shown to those who are willing to look, willing to see. But we have passed the tipping point, and we will have some kind of ascension experience. I believe many of us will have another ascension experience come close to the 11th. That's a big portal. It's another 11 day. You'll know I wrote about, I don't know if I've put it on here. I haven't. I've started like replotting them onto here, and so I'll do that either tonight or tomorrow. But the 11 so to me the 11 and the 1st of January of 2025, when you add up the 1 plus the 1 plus 2025, that comes to 11. So that's how I mastered that numerology, if you were wondering. So it became a 1111. So I wrote it as 1111 or 1111. And the 11 like that is always a gateway. So 1111 is a big gateway, a big ascension gateway, a big opportunity for a leg up into another dimension. Deb Boyle is saying she was listening to Nassim May. I don't know if that is it Harmain or Hussein. Anyway, we know who you mean, sorry. And he was saying the timelines are all one, as with the quantum, they all exist together. Yeah, exactly. And so that's what we've been doing in our threading. And you'll know we talked ages ago about everything coming into the 0 point. That's that same thing. So I'm not sure. Does he say? Does he give a time at all, Deb, about when it is impacted in the physical? I did start to listen to something that somebody sent me that he was speaking in, but I didn't listen to it all. I'll have to go back and look for that. Anyway, we are on the edges of it. We have passed the tipping point. We aren't going back. We're claiming ourselves. We're honoring ourselves. That's the first part, is to take yourself to your cleared and healed place and then arise. Arise into your higher dimensional space and claim yourself. And then that has an impact on everybody else. You'll remember that, it's the 100 monkey effect. You'll remember that beautiful analogy Guy spoke about the ink on wet blotting paper. And then all of a sudden it just spreads everywhere. And so we're in the physical of that. And so, yeah, I do believe that within the next week we will have some kind of ascension experience, and I will, I will get in and speak to Gaia more about that. So there's a lot of energetics in the inner earth as well. We will get and already are. We will have kind of conversations, if you like. So I want to say that we are having conversations, and that it may be happening through intuition, and it may be happening through dream time, or it may be happening through your higher self. But what I was showing the other day, I don't know if I've written it anywhere, that it's like you might be receiving communication from off-planet ships. So you will remember that Gaia showed a long time ago that there were millions of ships in our skies, and that they were cloaked until humanity was ready to see. And so all of the drones and those lights that have been shown in the US, what I get around that is that some of them are, if you like, they are drones that are there from both, if you want to, you know what these labels are, even if they're inaccurate, the white hats and the black hats, and off planet. So they are there, I believe, like softening the minds, so that humanity is becoming more aware that there are things that are unknown to us, that there are beings that exist that are not here on the planet. So that sort of expansion in the mind of that, and also like races or off planet. I like to call them off planet races, and intra. So planets, planetary beings or races that are within the planet, they are coming to the earth more. They come in their human form or as in human form. And we'll be having more communication from them as well. And all of them have technology that's beyond what we know. So a lot of that's going to become available for us to clean up our planet and to have higher conscious technology. But technology in organic ways, like through us. We are a very advanced technology as our human form. And Deb Boyle is saying January the 7th planets will be, January 25th, 7 planets will be aligned. So, you know, this kind of fits, doesn't it? We are coming into our higher alignment, as is the planet. We are always working hand in hand with Gaia, us as our human body and Gaia as the planetary body. So lovely to have you here, and I wish you much love from my heart and from the heart of Gaia. And I may see you again tomorrow, and look out for the posts. If you only follow on YouTube, I'll go and put some of those on here. All right, lots of love. Bye.